Hi everyone, in this video we're going to be taking a look at how to spot key language techniques for functional skills level 1 and level 2. Now this video is just a short version of one of our masterclasses, so if you haven't checked it out or joined our membership, please do go ahead and do so. By the end of this video you'll be able to read an example of a blog post, identify some key language techniques within writing, and evaluate your understanding of key language techniques. So before we move on, it's important to know our teacher's top tip. So there are at least 10 language techniques in the text. Can you spot them all? Now, if you read through it and you think, I may have actually identified more than that was actually identified in the video, please do let us know in the comments and we'll have a little bit of a back and forth and discussion to see if we're correct. Look at the extracts and identify as many language techniques as you can. I will just add before we look at the extracts that if you do want to download the actual text, then you can find that in the link in the description below. So it says then, my weekly rant. Have you heard that they're banning adverts for fast food until 9 PM in the UK? Personally, I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, I guess junk food is unhealthy, full of chemicals, and can cause diabetes, but is stopping a few ads really going to change anything? When I was at school, 90% of the kids lived off fast food. In my opinion, there are just too many options these days. It's bad enough that every 200 yards there's some takeaway to grab our attention. The smell grabs hold of us and demands our attention. Now, however, you don't even need to leave the house. I read a report from the Food Inspection Agency that said more and more people are using apps to have takeaways delivered, opting for the simplicity and hassle-free options of not having to worry about what to cook. I mean, come on people, what is up with that? Since when was cooking considered too hard? So if you want to pause the video here and go through it at your own time, please feel free to do so. We're now going to jump ahead, look at the teacher's feedback and go through the answers on the next part of the video. Class feedback. Check your answers against the ones below. So on the left hand side then we have the blog that we've just went through, and on the right hand side we're going to identify the language techniques. If you find that I haven't mentioned one that you may have noticed, then please do let us know in the comments below. It'd be really good to have that discussion and that back and forth with everyone. So the first one is, have you heard they're banning adverts for fast food until 9 PM in the UK? So that would be an example of a rhetorical question. For number 2, it says, I don't know how I feel about it. So because it's expressing their own personal belief, that would be classed as an opinion. For number 3, junk food is unhealthy, full of chemicals, and can cause diabetes. So that would be a triplet or a group of 3. Next we have, but is stopping a few ads really going to change anything? Which would be another rhetorical question. Next we have 90%. So you can see here that they're using numerical data to actually try and prove their point. So therefore it would count as a statistic. Next we have fast food, which would count as alliteration because we're repeating the same letter 2 or more times. Then we have, there are just too many options these days. So the writers clearly expressing their own opinion. This isn't something that's based on fact. They just feel a little bit overwhelmed by all the different options that are out there. Number 8, the smell grabs hold of us and demands our attention. Now this is a little bit more unique for functional skills. It's something you're more likely to find if you go on to level 2 or even GCSE English, and that would be personification. So if you're not sure what we mean by this, personification is when you describe something that is non-living as though it has human or person-like characteristics. Next we have more and more, which would be an example of repetition. Then we also have more and more people are using apps to have takeaways delivered, opting for the more simplicity, hassle-free options of not having to worry about what to cook. And that would be a professional opinion. So it would be a professional opinion because it has come from an actual organisation that does studies on this kind of topic. And our final one, number 10, since when was cooking considered too hard, is a rhetorical question. It's also important to note when you think about this, we've just had a look at a blog. try and think about the typical kind of features that you're going to get in a blog that you may not get with some of the other forms of writing that we looked at during our videos. Now, in terms of our next lesson, we're going to be going over the following things. So we're going to recall the key skills needed for the writing assessment, understand how to approach a report, and we're going to apply our understanding to attempt an exam style question. Again, if you haven't done so already, it can be really important to join our membership and check out the full range of our masterclasses that go into these kind of things in more detail. If you need any additional support or help, the new videos will be added every single week. Alternatively, leave us a comment below or visit our partner channel, Bookworm Teaching, for more lessons and guidance on all things English. Thanks ever so much for listening, guys, and all the best with your work and revision in the future. Bye bye.